Hello, friends, and welcome to something a little different. So, I guess I should probably just go on like a weird dissertation and explain what the fuck's going on here. Before we really get into the meat of all this, this is all kind of unscripted too, so forgive me if I fuck up a lot, and I will, because it's me. I found someone, while my usual habits of perusing the more horrible parts of the internet, it's what I do for fun sometimes, I came across a person. Now, I talked about this person a bit on stream with G-Man, and I talked about him again on another stream, but this is the first time I've ever really decided to sit down and really record and talk about this person. Okay, technically it's the second time. I deleted the first recording because it didn't come out as good. This has been kind of a difficult one to go through. I don't really know how to approach this because it's very, very odd. So, before we get into who this individual is, allow me to give you just a taste of background. You guys probably already know this, but I had friends and acquaintances who were all in the whole furry thing. And that's fine. I don't really care. People do whatever they want, but being associated with them allowed me to find out about certain websites and web groups and so on and so forth. And the amount of just fucking weird shit and weird people and absolute depravity that exists on some of the darker, lower levels is kind of incredible. Most of you probably already know this since we're living in a post-Caro the Wolf exposed world, but there are other kinds of very, very strange things. They go from, like, the dark and illegal to mostly just the insane and cringy. This is more of the insane, cringy variety, because, you know, it's my channel. It's what I do. So today we're going to talk about someone who I haven't really named. Or rather I did. I basically named his OC, which is what I usually refer to him by. So, this is a man who has an obsession. A very, very deep obsession. I usually just call him Nicholas, but this is Co-Lord 44. This is a man who spends a lot of time on many different websites starting arguments over things that he doesn't like, and then immediately retreats to websites like DeviantArt and Furaffinity, where you can remove anybody's comment that disagrees with yours on your own page, and talks about how he's bullied and put upon and victimized. But he's not. He really isn't. That's really the thing that pushed me into doing this. Now, I don't really care about some people's thing. Their headcanons, their shipping, whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want. If it ain't hurting nobody, I don't fucking care. You know, it's pretty much what we expect on the internet. However, when you start arguments with people, like legitimate arguments with people over them not fully conforming to your own headcanon at all times, even so much when you insist that one of the characters is in a relationship with your own self-insert OC, that's where things start to get a little weird. I'm going to be reading to you a lot of stuff that I found, and as much as I would like to show you various examples of his artwork, I probably won't. There may be a few, but I probably won't. Not just because it's his and I shouldn't do that, but also because this man spends the vast majority of his time drawing lots and lots of pornography. There are mountains of it, but I'll get into why in just a minute. First, let's start way back with how the fuck Moonhorse became aware of this individual. See, I like to read horrible, cringy fanfiction. You guys already know that because you're subscribed to this channel and you've seen that I've done that in the past. I haven't really done that a lot very often these days, but maybe I should get back into that. Not really the point, though. Fanfiction.net has everything from really good stories to really fucking bad stories. It is the deviant art of literature. Which is funny because DeviantArt now also allows you to post literature, so DeviantArt is also the DeviantArt of literature. There's so many things that go in so many directions, from the horribly misspelled to the really convoluted to the obvious self-inserts to some things that are actually bordering on relatively good to the absolute fucking nightmares. I found a couple of his stories, and the reason I didn't read them on this channel is because I have a few sets of criteria when it comes to reading things. One of these things is that it has to be at least somehow entertaining. It has to be bad to the point that it's funny. It has to have something going for it that's humorous. It has to have some kind of, laughable quality to it. His stories do not have that. They are basically the fanfiction equivalent of watching mud become dirt. They are shockingly boring and filled with just mountains of substance. Is it good substance? No. But it's there. It's like matter. It exists. But that's about it. It's a very vague term for a reason. I didn't really think anything of it, and I moved on. Now, I also get hilariously strange things sent to me as well, and you guys probably know that. Some of you may have actually done it. And somehow I don't even remember how, but I came across this guy's artwork. And the screen name attached to, his postings matched that on the fanfiction.net site, but I didn't really think anything of it. At the time, it was just kind of like, oh, it's kind of funny, he draws bad, and I've seen that name before. Where have I seen that name before? So, after a while of being, kind of associated, not really putting the two together, eventually it did kind of click, and I was like, oh, it's the same guy. Okay, I didn't know it was the same guy, so I was like, well, this is kind of weird. I've seen him on two different websites, and so if you're going to find somebody on all these fan sites or does things like this, you have to, of course, go to the motherlode, which is DeviantArt. So I punched his username into DeviantArt, and I got several hundred responses. That's a lot of porn. So, that piqued your friend Moonhorse's curiosity, obviously. So I decided to look into this just a little bit more. A lot of websites will let you search by user, specifically like your fur affinities, your so furries, your DeviantArt, so on and so forth. So I did. And I found him on every single one of those sites. He has the same name on all of these sites. And it's the same artwork, and it's the same kind of posts. The posts are what drew me in, not the stories, not his questionable artistic abilities. It was the very deep self-deprecating posts. These things all about how he's just looking for love, and he's not having, the best time of this, and things are really hard, and he just can't seem to make things work with no matter how many women he meets. And it's like, wait a minute. Long rambling stories, amateurish artwork, self-deprecating... Is this Chris Chan? And for a minute I thought it was. I really did. Except I was like, no, Chris doesn't... Dude, Chris spends most of his time on Twitter these days. He wouldn't be here. Would he? Now, for those of you who got excited thinking that I found a bunch of Chris Chan's sock puppet accounts, well, I hate to let you down. No, I didn't. These are not Chris Chan's accounts. However, this guy, he sits kind of in that phase of where Chris was very, very adamant about the sexuality and the, I don't know what the rest of the words, the relationship status, connectivity, all these things of his characters, right? That's kind of the level we're at. Except, there's a very specific caveat in there. Allow me to explain. He is very, very specific about what he considers to be canon relationships. All of the main characters from the Star Fox game series, for example, have canon relationships, even if he has to make up characters to fill those roles. And one of them, of course, is himself. He is very adamant that Fox and Crystal are boning hardcore, and that he is having sex with a character named Farah. So much so that he believes that they are married. And if you're thinking, that's a little weird that he would write all that in a story, I'm not talking about a story. I've read some of his posts, and he's serious. He's very, very serious. Allow me, if you will, to read some of his posts to you. Because, oh, dear Lord, they go places. A lot of these were found, I just want to go ahead and point this out before I start reading them. A lot of these were found as subtexts to a lot of his pictures. I'm going to read one of these, and then we'll get into some more stuff. There's a lot. I have a lot here. A reading from one of his postings is, and I quote, "And of course I can't forget my darling wife Farah. If she says she's married to me and pregnant with our third child, then that's me. Respect that. I did say we had 4 after all. And as you can see with our other 2 kids have gotten so much bigger. Jack, by the look on his face, you can tell the gears are turning in his little head as to what's going on with mommy." Yes, his grammar really is this bad, by the way. "Luna, who is 2, is more alert and aware than wondering what is going on." Okay, he wrote that twice. But me and Farah could not be any happier because we know this third child was made from love and passion. She's so beautiful, even more so right now, and that's what I'm going to show as much as I can. Yes, you heard that right. He is making these images to prove to you all, dang dirty trolls, that he's straight! He's straight, gosh dang it! That's the fucking level we're at right now, kids. That is the fucking level we have walked into, and my god, it only gets stranger from here. So, as I said before, he gets into arguments with people. A lot of arguments with people. But, I know what you're thinking. If that's the case, and he has all these arguments and all these websites with all these people, how come we haven't heard of him? Our boy's a little more clever than that. He's got a lot of sock puppet accounts. I've found at least 4. They all kind of use the same wording, the same structure. But I think the single greatest example of this is in a conversation that I simply cannot believe actually happened. So on a picture that was posted, I'm not going to name any other artists, and I shouldn't. It's really none of, it has nothing to do with them. It's their business. That was a poor choice of words, but it really has nothing to do with them, this whole thing. This is about our boy. This is about our friend Nicholas. Yes, I do say it like that because I think it's really funny. This is a conversation that happened. I'll try to discern back and forth between people, but these images of these things should be on screen as well. This is about an image of, I don't even remember which characters, but they're together. No, they are not a cute couple. I've always wondered, what's it like to be so wrong? I actually agree with him. Is it wrong for both of us to think that? Thinking that? Not at all. Telling someone? Very much so. Actually, he didn't tell me, I just saw it and support him. His initial comments is telling the poster that he's wrong about Crystal and Farah being a cute couple. So both him and you are wrong for thinking that it's okay to tell someone that their opinion is just wrong. You're not going to win this. The original comment was rude, boorish, ignorant, impolite, and insulting. You're not any better. Now, this comment chain. This one right here. The person who's telling them that they're wrong is absolutely correct, for one. But also, I don't think that they've realized, as well they probably shouldn't, and it doesn't really matter if they did, they're talking to the same person. And yeah, a lot of this stuff is censored, but it's two different accounts, right? It's him. It's him on both accounts. The wording and the naming, I don't know, pattern, it all matches up. And when I pulled up that other account, there was literally nothing on it except for times that he has interacted with our friend Nicholas. This is just one example of the times he does that, by the way. He does that a lot. However, it's really difficult to pin down exactly when he does that, because on sites like DeviantArt, if someone says anything on his own page, you can delete that. The user of that page can remove and hide comments that are left on their page, which he does. I've seen him do it. It'll leave a banner that says something like this comment is hidden or this comment has been removed, but it's still there, and you can still see that he's replied to it because ego will not let him simply ignore it. Ego is very, very big in all of this, as you will see. Other sites, however. There are other sites. Oh, yes, indeed. So, being someone who makes this much pornography, of course he posts it to sites that support large amounts of image-based pornography, specifically the furry kind. A lot of these sites have very specific rules, however. On some of them, the moderators decide what gets to stay and what doesn't, and also the level at which certain things are posted. You can't just draw stick figures fucking on certain websites and call that done. Mods will remove it. They don't really like that kind of thing. They're trying to at least keep some semblance of a functional website happening. And on other websites, this is not the case. So, I have read many comment chains from a lot of these websites because they don't delete comments unless they have a reason to. Getting into an argument with another user on an image is not a reason to delete the comment chain. So a lot of times, his negative comments that have been left on things are still there. Let's read one of those, shall we? This is from a picture. Let's just say it's not what one would show to children. And someone makes the joke of, I can tell the Fox/Wolf/Falco shippers are really getting angry at this one simple image. And then our friend, using a sock puppet account, replies, then let them, because Fox doesn't belong with anyone but Crystal. Falco is Captain Row, and why would he need a guy? And Wolf, he's not gay. You notice how he talks about these characters as if he knows them personally. We'll get into that. Why do people feel uppity and superior about their favorite ship? And then we have our friend here who catches this. Apparently this guy insists that his own OC is being shipped with Farah Phoenix, and that's also canon. Just be glad he isn't posting his own art here. Okay, first of all, why don't you guys just leave him and me alone? Second, I'm just helping him here. I find his insistence to trash talk about Lucario-kun and other artists disrespectful and petty, considering the core complaint is they drew smutty fan art / commissions with my furry female idols being paired with non-canon couples. This sums up his mentality very, very succinctly right here. But you'll also notice that his last comment there is really fucking important. Leave him and me alone. His sock puppet accounts usually go onto sites like this and argue with people. And they usually go on about posting some of his art that actually may or may not get deleted from sites like this. And that's because his actual name, his usual handle, Colord44, has been banned from several of these sites for causing so many problems that they have to remove him. He has been removed from multiple sites, and when people start to recognize his really shitty behavior and call him out on it, then he changes his name and starts doing it again under a different name. He's trying to kind of give the impression that there are a bunch of people who think that everything that he's done, all of these stories and this art and all this other stuff, is not only good, because a lot of people want their stuff to be good, but that's not really the core point. It's to validate his mentality that all of these things are correct. To really push this idea that what he comes up with is true and honest, and the true honest fans will know the real work. The similarities are getting painful. And before you ask, yes, he is on a love quest. There are several pictures from several different fandoms that revolve around basically his self-insert character, which, despite minor alterations, always looks the same. And if the one or two photographs I've seen that may actually have been him are him, they look exactly like him. It's very much a self-insert character. So much so that he's pretty much given up on the fact of trying to hide that, and is basically writing every passage and story and blurbs that are put with any of his pictures as if they are real. As if this is really happening. This is like some kind of weird combination of when Chris Chan wanted the dating education thing to happen, and right about now, where he believes, he is this immortal goddess, and that whatever he says exists and is real. It's kind of this weird amalgamation, except you throw a whole bunch of Star Fox and a whole lot of Furry right on top of it. Now, while it is true, and I pointed that out, that there are other fandoms involved in his artwork and his writings, he doesn't get nearly as defensive about them as he does with this, with the Star Fox thing, which is the reason why I chose to focus on it so much. Because that really, really seems to sit with him the most. I've read a bunch of the other things that are on a lot of his other art, but most of it is just kind of talking about what it is, or his own self-insert story. But it's only with the Star Fox stuff that he actually talks as if all of this is legitimately happening. That's really fucking weird. I'm gonna read some more for you. So let's read another passage, shall we? This is another writing from the Book of Nicholas. Turn to the proper chapters in your cringe Bibles, lads. Quote, "A surprise for sure, but a welcome one. It appears someone else is on my side in what I'm attempting to do. They drew the correct pairings. That is Crystal pregnant with Fox's child and Farah pregnant with my child, as it should be. True, the drawing is not the best, but that's not the important part. The important part is the fact that someone else wishes to see the truth come out, and for the ladies of Star Fox to stop being shown in the most horrid and twisted of ways, especially since someone else has now blocked me on FA just because of how I feel. Well, I can assure you that they will regret it very much. Based around the story, Crystal and Fox couldn't be happier for their soon-to-be that part doesn't really fucking matter. The part is right at the top, and this last sentence. And this is canon no matter what people say or try to do. So allow me to explain what that little twisted version thing means. Nicholas really hates lesbians. Like, really cannot stand them. There's a lot of talk in some of his stories about how he's accepting of the LGBTQIA community, but I don't know, man. He constantly goes on things about how any artist or writer or anyone, specifically when it comes to Star Fox stuff, who depict, like, Crystal and Farah being in any kind of sexual situation or in a relationship, he gets really, really mad about that. Keep in mind, these are fictional characters. They are not real. This is all just pictures drawn by other people on the internet. And he cannot fucking stand that. So much so that I've literally seen him argue with other people in comment sections on these pictures. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would he go to other people's pages? Why go to a whole different artist's page just to complain about a thing you don't like? And the answer to that is, I don't fucking know. That is legitimately going out of your way just to shit on a stranger's work because it doesn't fit the thing that you've decided in your head is real. There are only two real ways that I can think of that any of this would make sense to him. It's either that he is hallucinating that all of his Star Fox stories and art and whatever is actually happening, or maybe it's, happening in Dimension C197, as according to Christian, or he is so fucking narcissistic that no one knows better than him. I don't know which one of them is more worrisome. I don't know which one is sadder. It could go either way. Either way, it's just bad. It's just bad. Let's read another passage, shall we? Because why the fuck not? This is what we're doing. This is what this whole video is about. Okay, now I have to go back to things like this with her, because I have found recently art from different people that displays her the wrong way. I won't post links, but know this. In one of them, she is horribly bound up. In others, she's not only in threesomes, but the rest is being pounded by another female. Farah will never be like that. She's mine and meant to be with me, and I will keep proving that. But it's not just her. I need to show this, but the other Star Fox character couples as well, which is why this image is the first to show the truth of who belongs with who. For Farah, that person is me, and it's shown in a story that I posted. While it goes with the story I have out there of her and I in different website, this one is slightly different, which is after the final battle, myself and her and couples loyal to their loved ones are forced to crash land on tropical planet. There are things that get hot and heavy along with them. And yeah, you get where this is going. There's a lot of talk about losing virginities and preparing for wedding nights. But do you see the level of weird that I'm talking about? First off, I'm going to draw a bunch of porn to prove to people that this is canon, because I wrote a story where this is also canon. Yeah, that's how it works, right? That's totally how it works. Because you originally created all these characters, and that's just the way this is. Again, all I can think of is the fucking dating education. All I can think of is Christian and his, it's just the way we're gonna do it, and it's the true and honest way. And yeah, it just keeps coming back to that. It's so weird. So very weird. Another quote of this, and I'm really enjoying reading these quotes to you because it just keeps getting stranger. It's like reading the scrawlings of a madman. It has come to my attention. Someone else has drawn something of Farah that is false. So once again, the next set of pics I need to do to show why she is not into females or a foursome. She is with me, along with raising our son. I image in 2020 soon. I'll be able to show the drawing of our second child. Do you think he actually believes that he has kids? Do you think that's really... Because it really sounds like it. It really sounds like he believes that he has little furry kids somewhere. Let's continue, shall we? Now, because the abomination of stuff that is being made, I have to keep showing the world me and Farah are the only ones meant to be together. And as we are here naked with our gazes, this reflects that. My smirk is one that I have of her, and her is mine and mine alone. My God, he fucking writes like a lunatic. I feel like I'm, I should be like in a fucking, like an FBI safe room, and I'm just flipping through scrapbooks made of like cut up newspapers. This is the internet version of that. This man is literally threatening strangers over a relationship with a fictional fox lady from a Nintendo Power comic. I am fucking serious. Let's read more, shall we? So once again, I have to keep reminding people who Farah really is with due to a comic being done by a certain someone, which is probably in reality taking place as a nightmare or twisted dream in someone's head. That sentence scares me, by the way. Everyone. Farah would never be into a threesome. She's not into females. She is straight like me. She's straight! You guys stay straight! Lord! And she is married to me, therefore making only love with me. And I will keep showing everyone pics of us together to keep driving these canon facts home. This is canon, you guys. This is totally canon. You see that? Then there's a whole paragraph here. I'm not gonna read it because it's a lot. You can read it yourself. It should be on screen. About his fictional child. Is the daughter's name Crystal? Is she also a Sonichu? These are two things. Well, this one specifically. This one I really want to read to you. And you can see this whole thing. This is from his whole wedding fanfic. There's one particular part I really want to point out. I just really want to highlight this specific little passage here. He says, let's see. At least they took great pleasure in the fact that some uninvited guests had tried to crash this party, and they had been taken away so as to not ruin the day. And they were the ones that tried to show the Star Fox members and other males in ways that were not so flattering. I am glad karma caught up to them, Nicholas whispered, with a satisfying grin to the Jungle Cat and Wolf who were next to him. Honestly, the way they act is like they are having god complexes. The irony is so thick, it hurts my face. God complexes. God complexes. From a man who is screaming at strangers about how his canon is the only one. Please tell me I'm not alone in fucking feeling this. Holy shit! So, I want to show you a couple of conversations. Then, we're pretty much out of this. I have a couple more things I want to say about our friend, Co-Lord here, but let's keep going. Our friend Nicholas. So this is from a conversation on one of his has-been hotel pictures, I think. I don't know. I don't watch internet shows like you fucking cretins. Okay, but if you can have your fantasies about Luna, why can't others? She's literally only made up to have porn made of her, and this is the internet, so what did you expect? No offense, I'm just curious. I don't expect you to understand. Because of late, people have been telling me to do and not to do online. Tell me shit that's not true, just like in real life. So why can't I do the same? Some things should just never be made. Fair enough, I guess. You know, I feel sorry for this guy who tried to talk to him, because I distinctly get the impression that he was just like, hey, you know, man, why do you feel this way, my dude? And then he gets this response. I just imagine that this poor man, this DeviantArt user, possibly a furry as well, sitting at his computer just like, what the actual fuck did I just walk into? And then just slowly backing the fuck out of the room. That's the correct response, by the way, to just be like, nope, no, you know what? Fuck this shit, I'm out, dog. I'm out. Nope. This is, This is from another website. This is from one of those mini porn websites that I was telling you about. And they don't delete comments. And people, I'm not the only one who's starting to notice his behavior. So this is from one of his sock puppet accounts on a picture that he didn't like. And he comments, obviously, wow, very uncool, not something you need to see. And this anonymous right here, this anon might be my favorite person, is that's pretty funny coming from a thief, an art thief, and then lists all of his fucking sock puppets. You literally have no moral high ground. Now, I didn't take a lot of screenshots of what he did on this particular site, because 90% of it is him on his different sock puppet accounts, going to images he doesn't like, and saying things like, that's not art, sheer disgusting, pure trash. Just going to people's pictures who he doesn't know. He doesn't know these people, right? They just show his headcanon in a way that isn't. And possibly two ladies kissing. And that puckers his butthole right there, man. He cannot fucking deal with it. And he gets so angry that he has to trash every single one of these. And then, when someone like our friend Anon here shows up, and it's just like, you have no moral high ground. You know, you fucking do this. I know it's you. This is the thing that will cause him to immediately retreat to the DeviantArts and the So Furries and the Fur Affinities and just be like, everyone is mean to me! No one is mean to you that you didn't warrant. You picked the fight, and when you lost the fight, you ran off and claimed everybody was mean to you. They're not being mean to you. They're asking you to stop being a fucking butthole. This is an example where he just calls somebody's art disturbing. And he did this on the same image on 5 different websites, where it's been re-uploaded to other sites. And yeah, that's his thing. This is disturbing. Now, I've seen the image. It's not disturbing. It's pornographic. It's lesbian porn. It's not disturbing. It's exactly what you think it is. Woo. But because it involves his headcanon characters, this is disturbing, it's disgusting, it's horrible. He literally does call it horrible on another website. All because it doesn't fit his specific way of thinking. And then we have this wonderful exchange. And I do like this guy's, this poor man. This poor man! So it's literally just a picture of, you know, Farah and Crystal doing it or whatever. And yeah, it's like, about time she got some, haha. She already has been. I'm talking about action with Crystal. No, I mean Farah's gotten action ready. With Crystal or in general? I'm actually, I'm talking about a comic where delivers pizza, Haha. Yeah, not cool. Okay. Again, I just imagine this poor man slowly backing away from his fucking keyboard and just being like, what the fuck did I just witness? And these are common conversations. He does this a lot. I really can't stress this enough. I don't have enough images. I need more images. I need more information. But this is a lot. This is a very common pattern. The similarities between him and Chris Chan were a thing that I pointed out kind of at the beginning of this. And there was a lot of that. There's a lot of, this kind of, I have to be straight. And my ideas are the best ideas. And my art is the best art. Like, he legit thinks that his artwork is just the greatest thing that's ever been made. And gets really mad if anybody points out how it's, not. So much so that he simply deletes their comments, blocks it, or, outright just pretends it doesn't exist. But the differences from Chris are this: the arguing, the intentionally targeting strangers to yell at because they don't support his headcanons. And then there's a little caveat, a little something, a little bit that I might be able to show you pictures of if I heavily edit them down. See, there's another artist that this guy constantly harasses. Except, harass really isn't a very good word for it, because I'm fairly certain this other artist, whose name I'm gonna leave out because they don't deserve to be lumped into even a video with this motherfucker. They just do what they like to do. Make the pictures they like to make. And this guy comes along and calls all of that horrible, disgusting, deplorable, and depraved. And then, hopefully you'll be able to see it on screen. I'll do my damnedest. He takes these original images and then edits his own OC into them. He steals other people's artwork, photoshops it badly, looks like MS Paint to be honest with you, and then re-uploads it to certain sites and certain groups as if he was the one who made it. His mentality is so fragile that the fact that an image might exist of his furry waifu doing something with someone who isn't him bothers him to the point that he will literally steal someone else's artwork. And then, when other people call him out for being an art thief and saying how awful it is, he just tries to recreate the entire image freehand. There are multiple examples of this, and I'm sure there'll be several more in the future. This is the level of strange that I dug out of the internet. And I really don't know what else to say about this man. Honestly, I get the impression that if he doesn't know about this video, he will at some point, and he'll probably call me all manner of horrible names. I'll be King Bastard or some fucking asshole. And that's fine. That's totally fine. You can call me whatever you like, because at least I'm not a fucking thief. So I realize this is a little different than the stuff I've done before, but I don't know how many things like this I'll be able to make. I really don't. It actually all depends on what other levels of weird shit I can dig out of the internet, but I can't thank you enough for all being here. Every one of you being a part of this is amazing. I love you guys so very much, and I realize this is a big departure from what I usually do, but, this was one of those things that, I spent a long time going back and forth about whether or not I wanted to make it, and at the end of it, with a lot of help from people on my Discord, and a lot of conversations with friends, and, my wonderful fiance, I eventually came to the conclusion that, yeah, you know what? This needs to be done. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Okay, goodbye! Thank you everybody for watching, and a special thanks to my Moonfriendio Babbsy-kun for, well, being that. If you would like to donate to my Patreon, and maybe even join this tier, you can do that by going to, well, Patreon. And if you have your own story you'd like to send in, you can send it to r/Moonhorse Stories. And I also have a merch store if you'd like to buy something there. The links to all that and more are in the description down below. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye!